Lately, I've been having trouble with motivation and finding the time to make collages, to actually do the thing I love doing. I've heard from other parents that it's hard to allow themselves the time to do the thing they love. And I'm sure this is true for non-parents as well. Most people have various commitments and obligations. Why don't we give our joys in life higher priority? Well, maybe you do. In a recent James Clear newsletter, he says, it's hard to build momentum if you're dividing your attention. Yes, this is true. As I've said before, if you don't have momentum, you need so much more motivation. The reality for most people is that they have multiple priorities, true priorities, that can't be neglected. With so many things in our lives vying for our time, which thing can I cut in order to regain focused attention? The thing I love to do is always the easiest thing to drop. A commitment to myself is easier to back out on than my commitment to another person. I'm not going to stop being a mom or quit my job, but I also know that our commitments to ourselves are important. A dedication to joy in life is important. So when do I make time for collage? When do I make time for this joy in my life? Have you ever heard the saying, and I'm paraphrasing here, saving whatever money you have left over at the end of the month after spending all month will leave you with little to no savings? That's how I've been treating my collage time. Whatever time I have left over at the end of the week, I'll spend on collage. Well, is it any surprise then that I haven't been getting much collage time? So fun fact, one of my paid jobs is doing marketing and graphic design for an executive function coaching business. I've learned a lot about EF skills from doing this job, and here's one thing I've learned recently. Have you ever heard of the rock jar analogy? Basically, you have one jar representing your 24-hour day. There are rocks, pebbles, and water to go into the jar. Rocks represent our priorities in life, like family or work. The pebbles represent other important activities, but that aren't as important as the rocks, like reading or enjoying a peaceful walk. And now, before you run to the comments and yell at me that reading is a rock priority, what classifies as a rock or as a pebble is going to vary person to person. And lastly, water is all the filler stuff we do, but don't really need in our life, like scrolling. If you fill your jar with water first, you won't have room for anything else. If you fill your jar with pebbles first, you'll have room for some water, but not any rocks. Are you seeing where this is going? In order to fit everything in your jar, or day, you have to put the rocks in your jar first. Then there will be room for pebbles around the rocks. And lastly, there will be room for water around both rocks and pebbles. My creative time has been squeezed out. It's time for me to prioritize it, and not just in my mind and my words. I must schedule it in ink, put it on my to-do list, write it in my calendar like I would for appointments or work. This collage was inspired by an illustration I saw of a portal. What a romantic idea. To be able to take a single step and be transported to a better place in time. No challenges or hard work required, like the Stargate, although they did have many challenges of other natures. The portal negates the time and effort it takes to journey and all that we gain from the journey. Of course, the idea of portals is not this simple, and they go both directions to a better place or not better place. Does the doorway act as a guard denying us, or as an opening to free us? One symbolism of gateways is transcendence, a way to a new and better state. So while I cannot step through a portal currently, I can keep the image of my better state and time in my mind's eye as motivation to keep taking steps forward, to make the harder but better choices until I reach the place glimpsed in the portal.